Hello, good afternoon Tribuners. Welcome back with me Kusnul Ashaifa in Indonesian News of Tribun Lampung. We will present you an updating and interesting information from every place in Indonesia. And here the complete news. The first news is drinking coffee by the river man in Surabaya see the body. A body took the B-Mel was found floating in the Jagir Wonokromo River near a Jagir fruit trade east side at around 1 a.m. Tuesday, 20 September 2022. According to tribunjatim.com, monitoring the location, the Surabaya city, it is a joint officer and relief began trying to evacuate the body using makeshift tools. Namely, a rope that is sent with a stone as a ballast. Then the rope swagged the stone, which stuck to the corpse and floating on the surface of the water without a direction. After the body successfully attached to the wake, the rope officer followed to the him edges the river, which is partly sloping. Before being evacuated the morgue of the arrest to Sutomo, Surabaya, the Surabaya Police Inactive Team summoned to the trying to next external post-mortem and the male body. From the clothes was wearing the body appears to be wearing a short sleeveless batik shirt with a flora in the motif with a maximum of a dark green and a pink color. Then, red knee like a short pants made a plain clothes. Witness Joko Sardiwo, 57 years old, resident of the Surabaya, found the body the first time floating on the stomach on the east side of the river. While hanging with a sleeping coffee of the river bank, at around it saw early enjoy the cafe with 3 metal surface employed. But there is look closely, it turned out a floating object in adult human body. He took the was any bird a small crocodile, but his guess was the word human. After knowing it was corpse, he continued Wonokromo police, and the should have feel like this. The next news is former managing director of the Barjo Village Karanganyar detained. The suspect of the Barjo corruption case EK is now officially detained by the Karanganyar Kejarit on the Tuesday. EK, former president director of the Barjo 2000. The definition of the suspect was carried out as a joint effort Kejarit to prevent the suspect trying to escape or eliminating advice. Head of the special unit for the processor officer Karanganyar Tubagus Gilang Hidayatullah said the suspect would to be detained after result and suspect swab versus Gilang dari swab result showed negative. The suspect will be detained. The temporary detention of the suspect EK will be carried out in the Karanganyar police cell. He explained that detention was carried out because there is the incident that is suspect had to file. It is known that suspect EK, who is also the former president director of the PUM Barjo 2020, currently works in the Jakarta. Kades Barjo absence from the invitation to the summon to the Karanganyar is a job was a suspect in the latest corruption of the Barjo. It is village Karanganyar district Karanganyar Regency on the Thursday. The Barjo village has no name in the suspect did not come to the Karanganyar Kejari office for the health reasons. Head of the special unit Karanganyar processor office Tubagus Gilang Hidayatullah said only suspect is that the Karanganyar processor office to fulfill the summons. This was advised by the suspect sending a certificate to Karanganyar Kejari letter. The Karanganyar Kejari will be recalled suspend. To the summer suspend will be such rescheduled next Thursday. Meanwhile, the suspend Iki complained about the invitation by the coming 9. He said after examination, his suspend will be detained at the Berjo village had impression after temporary dismissal. The village head of the Berjo with the initial S who was named as suspend alleges corruption case of the premise found in the Berjo village, Ngarduyo district, Karanganyar Regency. Can be temporarily dismissed. The Karanganyar Regency Community and Village Improvement Service is awaiting an official statement operating the Karanganyar Kejari. Is there such stream? This press can be talked for the more step. The next news is madrasah teachers in East Java are paid 25,000 per month. The Indonesian National Madrasah Teachers Association visited the home of representative commissions of 5 offices on the Thursday 2022. A number of the administrators confided various compliment and inspirative advice and teacher in Indonesia public hearing a meeting. Chairman of the East Regional Management Muhammad Ali Muhammad admitted Daris he came to Jakarta to confide aspiration of the hundreds of thousands of the madrasah teacher, especially East Java. He said, so far there is have no many complaints from the madrasah teacher, so they submit to the peak that is submit to the representative and the central government. The man who also works the journalist in the Pamekasan budget election from the madrasah teacher was not fair when compared to the teacher. Under the suspension of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Representative and Technology, this includes political and considerate to still underestimate madrasah teacher. He hopes that commission can work to find various madrasah teacher because his condition and welfare of madrasah teachers in the file is still very alarming. Ali Musin also highlighted the delay in the distributing the certification allowance or the madrasah teacher incentive from the Ministry of Religion. In fact, there are still many ranks of madrasah teachers are not paid for the state. Meanwhile, Deputy Chairman of the Commission of Representative Abdul Fikri Faki taking PGB for the confined aspiration of madrasah teacher, especially with regard to their welfare condition. In particular, his party will later fight to various aspirations of madrasah teachers have to be confined them. The next news is hundreds of Indramayu residents take action again. Hundreds of residents in Indramayu Regency took the state against the protest on the Thursday. On the behalf of the Indramayu People's Alliance, the Jumat region of Indramayu, Nina Agustina stepped down to be sent back to Jakarta. In this action, hundreds of residents urged to the representative user to write inquiry against local government. Residents considered implementation right, which is the prestige used to the legislature, was not followed after properly by the executive, so it had continued with the inquiry right. According to the action coordinator Masadi, the community is already too angry with local government politics to not be favor of the people. This action is also third action taken by residents after the previous two actions did not receive a positive response. According to the Tribun.com observation at the location, the mass action initially got dispatches from the Indramayu Hall. However, there was no mailed by location government representative. The mass of the action constituted a long march to the representative building while giving speeches along the route. Residents also carrying many banners that read, starting from the selective slashing police complainantly sensing infrastructure development that is not favor interest of the wider. It is community umpire mattress teacher face the Mari record breaking activity. The max dances across are burned the grant of the student and the school. The issue of the harmonies between the Brigade Deputy Region Indramayu in this case, the resident urgent appear to the take on the set again in Indramayu region, according to witnesses of the legislative function. The following points are demanded by the resident. 1. Licensing priorities Kali infrastructure. 2. The harmony between the region and deputy region of the Indramayu. And 3. Disband Fahruroji. The next news is hundreds of health workers in EPD visit the maculary of the degree. 100 health workers both from the TG6 General Hospital in the Tiro from the Sigil PD as well as 26 health centers in 23 sub-districts visit in local personnel and the Human Resource Development Agency to determine currently legality and degree that can be recognized in central government as the main request a taken to be regressed at the government employed with a work agreement. Ordinary state civil operators, it should be not to go so far Malaysia employing producing district. And the health workers were all serving TG's Chingatiro Sigi PD Hospital and 26 health centers spread over 23 sub-districts. They in general have been given currently 25 to the 2020 with a full consistency. The health workers arrived to the directly meeting and the PD Mulyadi Nuryadi LCMA, however, he currently in Jakarta. According of the health worker for the service worker in the PD, Samsul Bahari AMs with the Nazaria to the SerambiNews.com. Samsudin Bahari admits so far these 1,000 service personnel have been never given a segment directly by the relevant agency either from the regional public service agency. The health of the service in this process, so there is absolute requirement of the degree become the main observed with the workers who have service in the legality requirement. They be recognized by the government because of the requirement are absolute with the ask for. Therefore, it is party asked the government to the open-minded accommodating with the healthy worker who was so deep with the surveillance in the community for the 16 years. Especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, which is only the first one serving panties and suffering from the deadly virus, the risks of the body and soul at the risk. The next news is Siak youth arrest for the damage to the tomb of the king of Palalawan. The perpetrators, who has been detained of the Palalawan police headquarters and the right photo to the tomb and the king of the Palalawan, which was demoted last Sunday. The perpetrators will also be detained at the Palalawan police headquarters and write a photo to the tomb, which is demoted at last Sunday. Resident of the Palalawan district, Palalawan Regency, raised a man for the damaging tomb to sing Palalawan. The man, who initial in age 23 years old, were recorded as living in Simpang Raya, Simpang Perak Jaya village, reaching the Raika district, Siak Regency. And it was raised the resident so far complex are Palalawan King's buried at around 9 am. The crime scan is not so far with the place a complex Regency with the Palalawan Kingdom. After secured in a hundred over the Palalawan, police headquarters for the legal processing. Then the report was contained by the head of the Palalawan district and the informant from the there was a man assigned to the resident. The man turned out to be an who highlights destroyed culture's heritage sister and the pure Palalawan for the mod. Mules that checking in the location for Tombong record information received. It turned out to the truth that a money tombstone have been deemed the result of a result, and the resident report to the incident to Palalawan police and handed over advice and perpetrators. The allegation perpetrators assaults when being mental disorders as advised by the access control in the letter from the mental hospital. Residents have been suspicious such they found the storm to the remote last Thursday. The next news is, a backering ends in a couple's death in the Balikpapan. The act abused by the husband in Balikpapan against the partner shocked the resident. Precisely after in the Dr. Sutomo route, Karangrejo village central Balikpapan, which occurred on Thursday 20 September 2022. As a result, his wife with the initial UF 59 years old died after undergoing treatment at the Kanujodwadi Hospital. The two burns and the metal slashes husband with the initial YS, 45 years old. At the first resident, we are surprised by the sound of the explanation and smoke coming from the inside the couple house. Neighbors were shocked and tried to check with the going in the personal house. Not longer after, the husband, namely YS, come out and from holding a matches. Firefighters tried to run out in the house and look for the help. At the time, YS' condition was also found to the burners his face and was found in hands. At the time incident, the recent victim found the initial age 22 years old, but initial suspect there is the first so-called only. It is outside, the voice while crying. Not longer after, the officer came to the stairs. After being taken to hospital, unfortunately, U.S. life could not be saved. Rangga said that his party was still investigating the motive of the quarrel. However, his party was expanding a number of witnesses, including the victim child. Well, I think those all the news for today with me, Kusnula Sheva. Don't forget to follow us at the Tribun Lampung news video, Tribun Lampung Facebook, Tribun Lampung Instagram, and Tribun Lampung TikTok for the more information. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.